Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of last night's Lucha Underground show. This is episode 23, and the episode was called The Cup Begins. And this was a good show last night. Didn't get a chance to watch it, but I DVR'd it. So, finished watching it and thought it was a very good show. Of course, this the Cuteo Cup, the first round match of the Cuteo Cup, which this is Group A of the competitors that were competing tonight. There's going to be 32 of the luchadors competing in this Cuteo Cup. So, but yeah, the show opened with you see Dario Cueto in his office, and we see a large board set up in there where it has the Cuteo Cup bracket. Pentagon Dark returns because he was out with an injury from Black Lotus. So he goes into Dario's office, and he asks Dario where Black Lotus is. Dario says to him that she has gone back to Hong Kong and that he hasn't seen her in months. And then Pentagon threatens to break Cueto's arm, and then he grabs Cueto's hand and twists it, and Dario ends up putting Pentagon Dark into the Cuteo Cup, and so Pentagon likes that. Pentagon then threatens Dario, saying that if he doesn't walk out the Lucha Underground champion, he's going to break Dario's bones. So it was a pretty good opening to the show. And then you have the first match. This is of course the first round match in the Cuteo Cup, Group A. The first match was Suerte versus the Mack. Pretty good match. Mack coming off from his all night long match that he had with Johnny Mundo, which unfortunately he lost the match. But Mack was good in the match. A lot of back and forth action between both of them. You had in the end you had Mack beating Suerte with a stunner, and so the Mack then now advances to the next round of the Cuteo Cup, tournament. So, but it was a good match between both of them, Suerte and Mack. Then when the show came back from commercial, we saw Cage was being shown with his power fist on. He was training. Dario then approaches Cage and talks about that fist, and then Cueto says for Cage to visit his dear friend Councilman Delgado, and then Cueto then tells Cage to meet up with Delgado. Cage refuses it at first, but Dario then gives him the contact information to go see Delgado, and then Cage ends up leaving, going to see Delgado. So it was a pretty good backstage segment. And then we have the next match in the Cuteo Cup. It was Pentagon Dog versus Argenis. This was a brutal back and forth match. Also a very awesome match too, where both of them were going back and forth. Pentagon was really awesome here. It was a beast in this match. But one thing that I really enjoyed in this match was that moonsault that Argenis hit on Pentagon, where he did the moonsault from the ropes onto Pentagon, and they were both outside of the ring, which that was really awesome to see. And then the match ended with Pentagon hitting the pile driver on Argenis to win the match. So Pentagon Dark is advancing into the next round of the Cuteo Cup. And then you had, after the match, you had Pentagon breaking Argenis' arm, which they said it was the second time in that Pentagon has broken a luchador's arm. So, but it was a good match, just brutal back and forth match. It was just a very awesome match. So, and then after that match, you had the next one, which was Tejano versus Famous B. Famous B, I like him for his comedy routine. I think he's very funny, but in the ring, to me, he's just a jobber. Famous B looks like he belongs with the New Day. You know, you make a, if Famous B ever came to WWE, he would. I guess that they would probably put him in there with the New Day with Big E, Kofi, and Xavier. But you know, Famous B tells Tejano that you know he doesn't want to win. He doesn't want to, you know, win the match and go on to the next round of the tournament. And so Famous B ends up laying down, and Tejano goes to pin him, but Tejano then instead lifts up Famous B and lays him out with a sit-out powerbomb to score the win. So of course Tejano is moving forward to the next round, but really it was just like a minute match. That was basically it. So if Famous B is in the match, it's not going to end good for him. So, and then after that we had a video package with Mysterio and Mundo, just showing them training for their match at the Cuteo Cup final, where Mysterio is going to be facing Mundo for the title, for the Lucha Underground title, at the Cuteo Cup final. So it was a pretty good video package with just seeing Mundo and Mysterio train. I really would like to see Rey Mysterio be the Lucha Underground champion, which that would be really awesome. But Johnny Mundo, he's not bad as a champion though. So, but yeah, it was a pretty good video package between both of them. And then it was the main event, which was Drago versus Aerostar. Very awesome main event where it was back and forth between both of them. You had Aerostar leap out of the ring onto Drago, and Aerostar just hit his head really hard on a chair. It was just, you saw him like holding his head, so he hit that chair really hard. But of course, Drago was bought out by Cobra Moon, where Cobra Moon had him strapped to chains. And then the end of the match, you had Drago pinning Aerostar, win the match, and so Drago ends up advancing to the next round of the tournament. Then after the match, you just had Cobra Moon telling Drago to destroy Aerostar. So all in all, it was an awesome main event. It was really really good. I forgot to mention in the Tejano versus Famous B match, they reference WCW because Matt Striker says, "What is this? The finger poke of doom?" And then Vampiro goes, "Oh, I saw that once. It didn't end well." And then Striker goes, "What happened?" And then Vampiro goes, "That company is no longer in business." So it's a to a reference in WCW where it's the finger poke of doom. So, but yeah, so all in all, it was an awesome main event between Drago and Aerostar. Sorry about that. But I was saying, they were talking that Striker and Vampiro were referencing WCW, but all in all, Drago and Aerostar was an awesome main event. And then after that, you had one of the craziest endings I've ever seen in Lucha Underground so far, where you had Cage go to visit Councilman Delgado. He ends up uh, Delgado ends up greeting Cage into his office and says, he says to Cage that he can't take off the glove because it's working really well, and you know, Delgado wants Cage to, be in business with him because of the glove. And Cage then grabs Delgado by the neck with the glove, throws him up against the wall, and you see Delgado just starts spitting up blood, which is really crazy. Uh, Delgado, Cage then releases him, and then he apologizes to Delgado for snapping at him. And then Delgado, uh, accepts the apology, and he says it's okay because Cage is thinking like a man. And then Cage just stares at at the fist, and he hits Delgado in the head with it, and ends up murdering him, which is really crazy. And because you see the fist all covered in blood. Cage then says that he's not a man, and that he's a machine. And then when Cage walks away, you see Delgado's dead body on the floor being shown. You also see one of his eyeballs has been popped out of the socket. And as soon as you see Cage walk away, you see him step on, one of the eyeballs and, crushes it. Just really crazy ending to Lucha Underground from what I've seen so far. Considering I've been watching, I started watching Lucha Underground this season, so it's like I said, it's one of the craziest endings I've seen so far. But it was just really brutal, really gory. Just was really cool. So yeah. So anyways, that's it for my review of last night's Lucha Underground, called The Cup Begins. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And the next video I'll probably do will be I want to talk about the Raw viewership, because Raw had their second lowest rating show this year. So I want to talk about that. So yeah. So until that video, I'll see you all later.